All right. Okay, so I was listening to a podcast this week about Instagram stories and how to really kind of take your social media from wherever you're at now to a brand new level. And I thought everything she was sharing was really, really good. So I went back and I listened to it and I jotted down some notes, and I just wanted to share them really quick with you so that you don't have to listen to the 30 minutes of her podcast and you can get the really fast version. But a lot of these, some of them I feel like I do, but there are a ton of them that I don't feel like I've mastered and I can really utilize in my own social media. And so that to me is saying that other people would totally benefit from it as well. So um, this is really just focusing on Instagram stories. So not necessarily your image feed where you've got all your like squares, but this is like the behind the scenes stuff. And I'm going to share stuff and just assume that people don't know absolutely everything about Instagram stories. So some things you may be like, duh, I already do that. But just because there's varying levels of knowledge with using stories, just bear with me while I just pretend that all of you don't know. So, by the way, this is from Angie Lee. So if you need some podcasts to like light your soul on fire and you feel kind of stuck, look up the Angie Lee Show. She's phenomenal. And you can tell by her titles exactly what every single one is about. So if you're needing a specific thing to be inspired on or learn more about, it says it right in the title. She is a firecracker and super entertaining. So Angie Lee, this is where I got this. So her biggest tips with taking your Instagram stories to the next level is being completely unfiltered and authentic, which I know we have heard before. But that is where you get to completely be yourself. And I feel like a lot of us can actually struggle with this because we're sitting in our living rooms and feeling like my life is so boring. Why would I get on Instagram stories right now? Why would I talk? Um, and but those are what people really want to see. They just want to see, okay, what is the regular Emily like? What does she do? What is she doing on Sunday afternoons? How is she staying healthy? Stuff like that. So when you are doing them, what's really important is to use all of the offerings within Instagram stories. So doing a poll occasionally, using the GIFs, the little like Animoji things, doing the questions where they can type in a question. Like using all of those features is number one going to boost your algorithm because Instagram likes it when you use all of the tools available. But number two, you guys, this is the biggest thing she kept talking about is you need to make sure that you are always doing a story that is either entertaining, evoking action, or educating them. So if you are talking about like a recipe that you really, really like and you're educating them, and it takes like 6 stories to get through the whole thing, that's a lot of time just like staring at somebody's face. So on every single story, you mix it up by putting maybe a funny GIF in the corner, or you actually type out like basically like a subtitle of what you're saying. If people's brains have multiple things to kind of switch in between, they will stay more engaged and they will watch your entire Instagram story. If they just see like it's you talk, 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 they're going to skip past it. And I am really guilty of doing this. And I need to do a better job of when I go back and I like change the filters on my Instagram stories, I need to be putting things on every single screen so that there are multiple things to keep people's attention. So be really, really consistent with that. and people are going to be more drawn to watching your stories. Because think about it. If you get on and you watch somebody else's story and you can see that there's like 50 of them, and you can see they're going to start a rant, and unless you like are really obsessed with them, maybe they're a celebrity and you're obsessed, you're probably not going to listen to all of them unless there's like little things on every single screen. Would you agree? A little bit of a difference between watching just a straight up someone talking and having little things to keep people's attention. So I'm going to be working on that. So this is actually a big question. The next thing she was talking about is how to find your voice. Like, how do you get on there and just be okay with being you? And what if you don't know what your voice is, or who you're speaking to, or who your avatar is, or who, like, you feel like you don't know who that voice is? She's like, she just kept saying over and over again, you just need to be awkward. You need to be extremely awkward. You need to fail forward. You need to put something up there, even if you feel like it's totally like random and weird. You need to fail a lot, and your voice will actually find you. But you can't figure out what that is, or maybe even who the girl is that you're specifically talking to, if you aren't willing to fail over and over and over again. Because it's not just going to like magically come to you one day and you'd be like, oh, I know how to just be myself on Instagram stories. No, you have to be awkward. And honestly, the more awkward, the better. I've talked to Candace about this multiple times, because she is like finally coming into her like silly awkwardness in her stories. And it's my absolute favorite. Like if you watch her mixing her Energize in the morning, and she like talks about how it's such a great day to join her like every single day. And she's dancing in her kitchen, and she's like, and multiple people do this, but I just see her name there at the bottom. So I'm thinking of her awkwardness. But you guys, that is entertaining. It's super entertaining, and it's authentically her. Like, you just need to be silly and you need to be yourself, and you have to just start. You have to get on there. You have to talk. We're all scared in the beginning. But you have to get used to just, she goes, you have to become great at just sucking a lot in the beginning. Just get really good at being really bad, because the more you put yourself out there, the less scary it is. And the more you actually own how uncomfortably awkward it can feel, because everyone feels that way, literally everyone. So that's relatable. So maybe you're thinking, okay, but that's a lot of time. And if I do record like 6 Instagram stories, and then I have to go back and I have to put the filters, and I have to put a question poll, and I have to find a GIF that works perfectly with what I'm talking about, or like type out what I'm saying in subtitles. That takes a lot of time. You guys, you should only be doing like between 7 and 50 Instagram stories. So you could literally do 8 Instagram stories, which would, fill that. Do you know how long 8 Instagram stories is? 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes of your life. So this is when you're folding laundry, or when you are done with your workout, or during your workout, or when you're about to do your workout, or you're done with dinner, or you're picking your kid up at school and you're waiting in line in your car, or your kid is napping, and every day at nap time you have, this is Angela's nap time chat. I'm going to talk to you about what I learned this morning in my book that I'm reading. Like, this doesn't have to take hours of your day, but this is a place where you can authentically engage with the people that are following you and create those relationships as well. So don't overthink like the time amount, because it's not a lot. Said all that. One thing about the whole, like, if you are getting on there and you have like 10 stories on one topic, she does say, sometimes you need to have that much, but if you can say it in a shorter amount of time after you rewatch it and you're like, oh, I said a lot of ums, or I kind of drug that out, or I repeated myself 3 times, delete it, and just say it shorter, because people do have a really short attention span, especially when it comes to stories when they know they're only 15 seconds long. So if you can cut it down, cut it down. Okay, this is my favorite thing that she said, because I totally agree with it, and I think it's really exciting. A girl that was interviewing her asked, so where do you feel like the market is going with social media and marketing and sales, and like what trend do you see happening? And you guys, the more unfiltered, less like perfect images, like raw content, the more people are selling. That is where the trend is going. So she's like, it's good to, occasionally throw in there a picture that you took a long time to like set up your tripod and the lighting and the filter and, get really good content written with it. But she's like, my best and most engaged posts are where I just take out my iPhone and I just snap a picture as I'm walking down the sidewalk, and then I write what's going on in my heart. That is relatable and what's connecting with people. People are sick and tired of the perfect, like, poised Instagram page feeds that are just like, they almost seem unattainable for people. Do you ever go to a page and you're just like, you just feel like unworthy and less than because they're just so perfect? So people are craving authenticity, which is where you can do that on your Instagram stories, like starting now. You could get off this call and just talk about something that has been on your heart, or, something that's been bothering your kid at school, or ask for advice on an outfit to wear to, a party you have next weekend, or, just be yourself, because that's what people want to see. And that is going to actually make it a lot more comfortable for them to reach out. If you are sharing your vulnerabilities, they will much more likely reach out to you and say, okay, what are these groups you keep talking about? Because that's a really vulnerable place to be. And if you're vulnerable first, it gives them that open door to reach out. So she said, make it look less like a magazine, post when you're super passionate, even if it's real life and you have zits all over your face. Like, people want to see that, and it makes them feel connected to you when you just show up as you are. This was a really good question that she answered. How do you know when you're not being authentic? I related to her answer so much because, we're all like, I feel like all of us on this call right now are trying to be our authentic selves. We all want to be able to be open and vulnerable and touch other people's lives enough where they get brave enough to reach out to us. But in the beginning, it's almost like fake it till you make it, in a way. And she's like, so a really good litmus test of knowing whether you're truly being authentic is just take a check on your mental health and your anxiety. Because if you are feeling like that, the chest tightness and the worry and the fear, and you're just feeling like there's no inner peace, you're trying to fit like a square peg in a round hole. So just kind of like take a step back and realize that when you're really being authentic in yourself, it feels peaceful and it feels like a release, because you're not trying to be someone that you're not. She's like, when we go into an entrepreneur role, we're not paid to be actresses. We're actually paid better when we're not being the actress and the perfect and the perfect lighting and the pose and the suck in the stomach. And she's like, we are way more successful business women when we just let go of needing to be that person. Okay, there's a lot of stuff in the chat that I will read in 1 second because I just have one more thing. Unless I just said it. No, I just said it. Okay, so over in the chat for the people watching the recording who can't see it, Emily has a suggestion with Angie Lee, her podcast titled How to Not Suck at Sales and Build a Solid Brand. That sounds like a podcast I would press play on. How to Not Suck at Sales and Build a Solid Brand. I love it. I will probably be searching for that one after this. Little pictures also give an idea of what the topic is about. Get to the chase. This is horrible because people seem to not have patience anymore, but our goal at this time is to catch others' eyes. So keep our goal in mind. Yes, I love all of that. And it is frustrating that people are having shorter and shorter attention spans, but that's just the world that we live in. So staying relevant and engaging and just putting a overly abundant smile on your face is going to draw somebody in. When somebody, when I can tell that Candace, sorry, I keep bringing up Candace, but I just watched her video earlier. But when I can tell she's had a good night's sleep and her face is just lit up, if anyone watches Candace's stories, you know what I mean. She's just high on life and excited. You just want to drink whatever she's drinking, right? You want the Kool-Aid, you want the whatever cult she's in, sign me up. She looks happy. Maybe you're having a craptastic day, but just channel what you love about this job and just get in that headspace and get on your stories and be excited about it, because that is contagious. Jelena says, I had some major anxiety with all of that. And then I started this life changer. And I don't know when you typed that, so I don't know what you're referencing. So if you want to clarify, I'm reading all these too late. You want to clarify when you were having anxiety, what that was about?
Oh, I was just basically you're talking about that chest pain. I know it's not related to what we're talking about, but when you said that, I just 110% related to that so much, because I was right before I committed to this. I was doing Beachbody before I committed to this.
Mm-hmm.
I was experiencing so much anxiety, and I didn't realize it because I've had experienced anxiety previously, but it really, really, really was bad. And then I did this, I committed, and it was just a weight lifted off my shoulders. Like I said, totally off topic.
No,
I had to share that.
I love it. And nothing's off topic here. Everything's related. So Emily says, write your posts as though you are messaging your best friend. If it doesn't sound like something you would say to a friend, you may not be sounding authentic and more sales-like. Such a good point and a good idea. Candace says, I sometimes have to pep myself up or dance before I do it, so my energy is high. And yes, you should totally post about your lifted anxiety, Jelena, for sure. But you guys, so it's in thinking about this, there is a balance. There is, obviously we're nervous to get on stories because it is real. It's authentic. It's holy cow. It's it's a little less scary than going live on Facebook because you can delete it after the 15 seconds. But you do need to amp yourself up and not, basically, I think it's okay to be a little bit inauthentic in your excitement, because you will actually motivate the excitement inside of you by being excited. If you put a huge smile on your face, it releases so many positive endorphins in your body. They've scientifically looked at your brain and the chemicals when you smile. So there's that, I feel that is okay. But then going on stories and pretending to be this perfectly hair coiffed, poised, professional, authority figure, that isn't being authentic. I think all of us inside have that quirky, weird girl that obviously everyone here loves what we do, or you wouldn't take time out of your day to hop on a team call. So take that passion, embrace how awkward it is to be overly excited about something, but getting on stories and being like, oh my gosh, you guys, like this is totally changing my life and this is weird and awkward. But would you want to like join an accountability group with me? It's so much better to like do it with other people, and you can tell this girl is like terrified, or be like, seriously, you guys, my life is changing because I joined this accountability group. I thought it was kind of crazy, but I did it. And I can't even tell you how many things in my life have changed because of it. Let's do this. Who wants to do this with me? Which girl are you going to join? Like, that was uncomfortable for me to do in front of all of you, pretending that I was on my Instagram stories, because usually I hide in a corner away from my husband and my daughter and I get on my stories, which is okay, because then maybe you can loosen up and get to be more of yourself. But just get on there and get excited. Tess says, I get on stories without makeup more often than I do with makeup. It used to make me so nervous, but it is just normal now. It's totally normal. I was thinking about this the other day, actually, when I posted a sweaty selfie workout. Like, my eyes are puffy because I just woke up. It's like 6 a.m. I'm sweating, no makeup on, obviously. And I posted, and I'm so proud of this picture. And I'm thinking 6 years ago, Andrea would have been mortified to ever post a picture unless it was like perfectly, like, I don't know, I thought I was a high schooler, like, because I taught high school and I would learn from them on how to post on Instagram. But you guys, the more real and just you are, the better. And yes, slap a filter on there so that it looks bright and exciting. But putting a filter on with changing the color and the brightness and the lighting is 100% different than like getting on Snapchat and getting the filter where your eyes get bigger and your skin gets perfect, and like those, that's not you. But going on Lightroom and buying a preset so that you can just click and your pictures are like bright and beautiful, that doesn't change who you are. That just shows more of how beautiful you are. So know that there's a difference between when I say like put a filter on it, like you can brighten that picture up. That's not being you and authentic. Candace said Tara's story game was on point today. I'm going to have to go check it out. Any thoughts, questions, ideas rolling around in your head? Because if you guys are thinking of something or you have a question, it's probably going to help somebody else on this call. Any thoughts, aha moments, anything? I remember doing my first story. I remember so many of your first Instagram stories, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her. Love, love, love. You guys, honestly, the best thing ever is just seeing you guys get uncomfortable. I recorded my first story 5 times or 10. Yep. And it gets less and less that you like delete it. But sometimes I'll be like on a rant and I'll get like halfway through what I was going to say, and I just like have a total brain fart, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably not just leave a silence on an Instagram story. Did I miss an app? Somebody was sharing apps. What are we sharing? Not appetizers. Oh, the Unfold app. Any other fun apps that you guys use for your stories? I think that would be a great way to end the call. What are and you can unmute yourself or type it in the chat. What are some of your favorite apps that you use to make your Instagram stories more engaging and fun? I love Brianna's. She's not on the call right now, but if you watch Brianna, she uses, I think it's called Triller, and she makes these videos where it like cuts back and forth in between two videos when she's like dancing to a song. And I think it's super eye-catching and engaging, and it makes me watch the entire thing. People are using Unfold. They use Canva, WordSwag. And Canva and WordSwag are really good when you create stills that you can like talk about what they get if they join an accountability group, or talk about the things that have changed in your life about coaching if you're inviting them to the coaching opportunity. And then you can save them to your phone and reuse them like every month. Tess says I try to do my stories without re-recording them so that they're the most authentic. I re-record if I have kids screaming and you can't hear me. Oh, I love it. And I do try to just, like, if I stumble over a word, I never delete it. I'm just like, words are hard. Moving on. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And if you didn't see on the team page, we are switching team calls to be just the first 2 Sundays every single month, which allows all of you to be hosting your own team calls kind of the second half of the month or during the week. But there were just a lot of team calls happening for a lot of you. And so we wanted to simplify and streamline. And those of you who are hosting team calls, please post them on the team page in case people want to hop on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night or whenever you're hosting them, because that may work better for other people. And the more we're lifting each other up, the better. So super excited about that. And we will see you guys later.